What up, what up? Once again, it's your friendly neighborhood Malls back with another episode of Break It On Down. This is my web series where I break down the lyrics and give a little backstory on songs from my new album. The new album is called Famous Last Words. It was produced entirely by Grammy-nominated producer Drugs Beats. You can get it anywhere you get music, but today we're going to be talking about the track Apathy. Let's get on into it.
Gonna make a move. I won't stop till I accomplish what I came to do. You front the road, taking pictures with some famous dudes.
All right, so Apathy. This is one of those songs where it kind of came together quickly. There's not much of a backstory behind it. It was one of the first beats that I chose for the album, and I wrote it kind of late 2019. And it was just one of those joints that it was just so hard, like you just want to elbow somebody in the throat, just like, As I was writing it, I was kind of thinking, because I didn't make my list, but I was just kind of starting to think about, what features would I want on the album and who would sound good on what beats. And this is probably maybe the first beat that I thought, I was like, ooh, maybe Eternal can get on this. So I was originally gonna reach out to Eternal and see if he wanted to get on this one. But as you know, he ended up on my mind instead, which I think worked out, perfectly. There's not much of a story behind this song. I'm just barring out. So, I have my songs that are, about topics or themes, and really giving a piece of myself. But I know a lot of people just enjoy me just barring out and just going dumb on a beat. So this is one of those tracks. The first verse starts out, it's sudden death gonna make a move. I won't stop till I accomplish what I came to do. You front the road, taking pictures with some famous dudes, capping in the caption like your fam without a grain of truth. And that's just something that I've noticed on these social media streets is, indie artists who will say they open up for a larger artist, at a venue, and then they get a picture with them. And then you see in the caption on Instagram, like, yo, chilling with the fam, Slick Rick. And tagging Slick Rick in it. It's like, yo, what's up, fam? I'm chilling with Memphis Bleak. What's up, fam? And it's like, I don't know. And I've realized that is just how people talk now. Like, everybody's bro, everybody's fam now, regardless of how close you guys' relationship is. It's just something that doesn't sit right with me. Like, yeah, you opened up for this artist and you might have had a conversation or two, but it's like, I feel like that doesn't warrant a fam or a bro, like, take the picture, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you ain't gotta pretend like you're all tight, like, yeah, I'm tight with Conway. Yeah, Conway, that's big bro. Like, nigga don't know you, man. So it's just something I had to kind of get off my chest early. And then, the next bar after it was my feeble attempt at a little humor. I make a point like Tomb Raider boobs. If you are, of a certain age, you remember the old original PlayStation, where in the game Tomb Raider, where, like, it was the polygon, graphics or whatever, and Lara Croft just had these isosceles triangle boobs and shit. So I make a point like Tomb Raider boobs. I mean, it's some shit where, if you've heard me talk about writing rhymes before, I always talk about how I used to rely heavily on punchlines, on similes and stuff. And I kind of got away from it because I feel like there's a fine line between clever and corny. And sometimes that fine line can just be your delivery. You could feel how you want to feel, but I kind of feel like that was a corny line, but that shit was funny to me. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just write it in and I'll keep it, so it made me laugh at least. After that, I go into the The talking heads say you're popping, that's debatable. I'm burning down the house and nobody is saving you. A psycho killer, my demeanor may seem strange to you. My aim is to maim a few lames who came with the same excuse. And that's for my music nerds out there. It's an extended Talking Heads, the band reference, you know, the song Burning Down the House and the song Psycho Killer. So that's pretty much all that was, with the little kind of, you know, some behind the back passes and some, you know, sham god dribbling, you know, with the rhymes pattern or whatever. And then I follow up the music nerd portion of the verse with my comic book nerd portion of the verse. You're like a kitten to a saber tooth, a weapon X in the flesh, and you in danger, dude. You know, obviously Sabretooth, from the villain from X-Men, and Wolverine was part of Canada's Weapon X program and their arch rivals or whatever. So that was that little reference for the comic book heads in there. Like, you know, this is like a, you know, shit talking verse, but it's really steeped in just high level nerdetry, which, I mean, that's kind of all I can give you, because that's me. I am a nerd, and it's gonna come out no matter what. So, you know, even when I give you those shit talking, I'm better than you raps, you know, I still represent for my nerds, you know, who get it, whether it's the music nerds, the comic book nerds, the just general nerdy, geeky nerds. Like, I rep for y'all, you know. And again, this song kind of came out really quickly. I usually like to take my time when I'm writing a new song. I tend to finish a verse, you know, within a couple of hours, and then I won't come back to it to complete the song for maybe the next day or a couple of days from then. From there, I believe I finished this song in one day, which I rarely do. I just feel like, okay, I don't want to burn myself out, so let me stop right here after I finish this verse and then come back with something, with a fresh perspective from a new day, you know, so I don't end up regurgitating the same thing that I just said in the first verse. And it probably wouldn't be like that if I chose to write entire songs in one sitting more often, but it's just kind of a weird Malls' workflow thing that I have going on. The chorus pretty much came immediately after I finished writing the first verse, which is rare for me again, you know, and it's just, you know, I try not to make super intricate choruses, and I just wanted to have some kind of chant thing that's quick and easy to say, easy to rap along to for those who can rap along to it. You know, so I just said, you know, the shit is real, little nigga. Now I don't give a fuck how you feel, little nigga. And I was like, that's enough. That's it. I'll just repeat it. And it worked, you know, because the beat is heavy. It hits you really hard, and it's to the point. You know, it's not a whole lot of, you know, drama and build up in it. And so I felt like the chorus and the verses should be the same thing, like something quick to the point. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. So for verse 2, I start that off with, I do more listening than talking. I control my destiny, and failure's not an option. And that sums me up perfectly. I'm very much more of a listener than a talker. Unless I'm really, really close to and comfortable with you, you know, I can run my mouth. But, you know, most people know me as a quiet dude, and I am a quiet dude for the most part. And I much rather listen, which is weird because I'm on Clubhouse all the time. You know, I rarely speak. I haven't hosted any rooms yet. I probably won't host a room, but I love Clubhouse because it's a place where I can soak up information and knowledge, and not or just laugh while with other people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to participate in the dialogue, but I can be part of the audience and enjoy myself too. So I guess that's a weird thing. But again, I do more listening. So I'm a listener on Clubhouse while I may not speak all the time. And so I give another little music nerd reference in the next line where I say, you know, do whatever's best for me. A major key like Chopin, the pianist. And I'm not even too super familiar with his work, but I know of them, know of him. So I put it in my raps. And then I say, life's too short, ask the cop that ran up on Botham. And, that refers to Botham Jean, the young man who was in his apartment chilling when the police officer came in and murdered him in cold blood. And I rarely make specific references to police violence against Black people and brown people, because it's like, if I make a specific reference to one specific person, by the time I release the song or the album comes out, there are so many others that have occurred that you're like, oh man, I forgot about that, and that's a very sad thing and fucked up. But I felt like that one, they all are really, really just difficult to absorb, and you find out what's going on, you try to keep abreast of what's going on, and be aware of your surroundings and what's going on in the world. And that one I just had to kind of not necessarily break my rule, but I had to make an exception of like, okay, let me single out this specific incident instead of just talking about it in a macro sense. I'll just, give a reference to this one individual case. And I didn't really want to get too far in the police brutality and human rights and just pro-Black rabbit hole for this verse, because that's not what I wanted this song to be. But again, since this is kind of, it's a shit talking verse, and it's not about anything, and it's kind of free association, all these things that are me are going to come out. So you get the music nerd stuff, you get the comic book stuff, you get the pro-Black stuff, you get all that, because that's all within me. To not leave that line hanging out to dry, I follow it up with modern day lynching is dangerous just existing. My presence is revolutionary, so pay attention. Then my next few lines is Vision 2020, every rhyme is a good look. Success ain't overnight, you don't know what this shit took. Transform out, manage them all to a monster. Outlasted all my peers, they all absconded. Like, a lot of people feel like someone who, blew up, it always seems like, boom, they just came out of nowhere. But, the saying goes, it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. And, a lot of people are just getting hip to me now, especially with the release of this, new album. But, I've been paying dues for a very long time, in the indie music space, and even just, perfecting my craft, which that never ends, right? But like, there's no fast track to a career in music or any of the arts, I feel like. And, I feel like those who are wanting the fast track, like, you might get there, but it's not gonna last. Like, it is really important to have that foundation and that work ethic. And then the transform out, manage them all to a monster. I'm still mild, manage them all. I'm easygoing. I'm very nonchalant, laid back, however you want to say it, down to earth. All these fucking cliches that they have for somebody who just kind of doesn't get too high or too low for the most part, right? But in certain cases, because I have been doing this indie music grind for so long, I think my patience with a lot of things has run a lot shorter, and I am much more quick to be like, hey, don't worry about it. I got it. I'll do it myself. Not worried about you. And it tends to rub some people the wrong way. But on the other side, I think a lot of people really appreciate that, because it shows that, like, I'm not waiting on anyone else to, make my dreams and my goals, come to fruition. So I guess it's a two-headed monster type thing, so that's why I turned, transform out, manage them all to a monster. Like this indie music grind will change you, and it could be for worse or for the better. If you are faithful and true to that grind, because you find out shit ain't sweet like you thought it was. And you have to kind of respond or react, to quote the Roots. That little section, outlasted all my peers, they all absconded. Pondered my place in this world, and then concluded that none of these dudes can do it the way I do it. I have been a part of a lot of rap groups and rap collectives, since I started rapping, and, even since I decided to really step out into my own and try this indie music thing for real. And for the most part, most of the guys that I was in groups with and in crews with, they kind of just stopped rapping. And it's nothing that like, nah, man, them motherfuckers quit. Like, it's nothing like that. But, life happens. Life be lifing, you know what I mean? And people are having families, and, people are doing these other things where their priorities shift and their focus shifts. And that's growth, right? And not everybody has the same path. People that you start a journey with aren't necessarily going to people that you arrive at your destination with, So, shout out to all the people who have been along with me on this ridiculous ride, whether you are still rapping for fun or as a, career or whatever or not. Like, shout out to all you guys, because all of you have helped me become who I am right now. This ridiculous motherfucker talking into his phone. Thanks. And then that section where I say, pondered my place in the world, and then concluded that none of these dudes could do it the way I do it. I've always, for a long time, this is probably going back to maybe college. I've always tried to figure out, what is my voice? Like, what do I bring to the table as an artist, as an MC? What makes me stand out from everyone else? And, there's, depending on who you ask, you can have a different answer, including myself. Depending on the day, I may have a different answer, but something I've come to realize and accept is, whenever I'd have those times where I am not feeling as confident, or, this person over here, like, I hear a song of theirs or album of theirs or even a verse of theirs, and like, yo, there's no way I can't do that. How in the hell? Like, I gotta get better. And then you get to a point, or at least I got to a point where I'm like, yo, yeah, that what they did was really dope, but people can't do what I do either. Like, I do some incredible shit, and I haven't heard anyone yet that, is like, yo, I did your style, listen to it. And I'm like, damn, that's me. You did exactly what I do. And that whole, like, that's my superpower thing. I do what I do. So that was just kind of me just letting my journey as far as like building my confidence and getting to that point. I pondered my place in the world, like, yo, man, where do I fit in this rap music thing? Like, should I quit? Because there's a lot of other rappers who kind of do what I do. And then you realize, like, no, but they don't have my voice. They don't have my experiences. They don't interpret life and the world the same way that I do. So yes, my voice is unique. I do have something to offer. And then I end the verse, who in their right mind would move up the pipeline and keep going after nearly losing their lifeline. 8 million stories and none of them like mine. I give it while I got it, because now is the right time. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Complete and total honesty. I still don't like the way I ended that verse. But I didn't want to just think too hard on it, because again, it's a song that came together really quickly. And I didn't really give a whole lot of extra thought into any other part. So I'm like, nope, I'm gonna leave it like this. this is going to be like a sketch. It's a for my former School of Art nerds, or just art nerds in general. You know, it's a quick gesture drawing. And that's what this song is. It's a gesture drawing. But, you know, the who in their right mind will move up the pipeline. The pipeline I'm referring to is just the indie/local artist pipeline. You know, when I started out, you know, on this indie grind, you know, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know who my target audience was. I didn't know how to find my audience, but I eventually found that. I started doing shows and started building my name up. And I moved up into the ranks, you know, to where I'm touring and I have an audience literally worldwide and everything, you know. And then keep going after nearly losing his lifeline. You know, a lot of you guys know I had a really big health scare a couple of years ago, which I also addressed on the album, and we'll get to in another episode. So it's like, yo, I think a lot of people probably would have taken a step back and like, nah, man, like, I need to take time and just focus on getting my health right. And I did, you know, but also, you know, making music and whatnot, it's also a part of my health, you know, part of my mental health. Like, I'm not me if I'm not creating music. Like, this is part of who I am. So I feel like, you know, people probably thought I was crazy, that like, you know, I just literally almost died, and it's like, oh, you know, what you doing, Miles? Working on the album. Like, motherfucker, ain't you supposed to be like getting better and shit? You know, doing that too. Because I definitely had my rhyme book with me in the hospital. I don't think I wrote a whole lot in the hospital, but that definitely at least had it with me, you know. And so that last line, I get it while I got it, because now is the right time. And, you know, if you've been on this journey with me for, you know, however long, you've probably heard me say, I get it while I got it. That's kind of a go-to line for me, just to be like, yo, there's no time like the present. You know, there's never, especially with the arts and with rap and being a musician and whatnot, there's no people like, oh, I got to wait until I get this, or, oh, I got to wait because I need this equipment, or I need this amount of money, or I need this. Like, no, do it now. You know, do what you can while you can. You know, there's never going to be a perfect time. So I get it while I got it, because now is the right time. Now is always the right time. Just start. Like, don't worry about not knowing. Don't worry about not having equipment. Just start, you know, and you will figure it out. You know, if you have that ingenuity, if you have that determination, you will figure it out as you go along. And so that's kind of how I ended it. So even though it's a shit talking song and I'm better than you song, I'm still trying to motivate and push some positivity and self determination and just all that kind of stuff in the song. So there it is. It's Apathy, man. The title was literally probably as I was sequencing the album. I was like, what am I going to call this song? Because at the time it was just named whatever Drugs named that beat. And I was like, I don't give a fuck how you feel. Okay, Apathy. And that's pretty much what that is. Like, there's no science behind the name of the song at all. Apathy is just a cool word. So yeah, there it is, man. Another episode in the books. I think this was episode 9? So make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Famous Last Words, produced by my man Drugs Beats, is out now. I have a link in the description below where you can purchase it. I do have CDs back in stock, so if you are the type to enjoy and appreciate physical media of your music and have a CD player, or even if you don't have a CD player and you just want a keepsake, you can order those from me. They go out really quickly. malls.bandcamp.com is the link, but again, it's in the description below. If you are the streaming type, Famous Last Words is available on all streaming platforms. We'll check you out next week. Peace, y'all.
Shit is real, little nigga. Now I don't give a fuck how you feel. Nah.